Good evening, everyone. My name is Iman. I'm a co-founder of Free the People ROC, and I'm going to pass it along to the other co-MCs today, and just want to thank everyone for being here today.
Hi, everybody. My name is Halima. I'm an organizer with Free the People ROC. Really excited to be here today.
Hi everyone, my name is Stanley Martin, also co-founder of Free the People ROC, and I want to give a shout out to other organizations who worked to put this event together, the Rochester Black Agenda Group, Community Justice Initiative, Flower City Noir Collective, amongst others. So thank you all for being here.
Say his name, Jayland Walker. Say his name,
Jayland Walker.
Say his name,
Jayland Walker.
Say his name,
Jayland Walker.
While it's so good to be in community tonight, it's deeply unfortunate that we're standing here together, gathering yet again over another black man who has been killed by the police. It's extremely important for us as a community to break this cycle of normalization and make sure that we bring the humanity back into the lives of those who have been taken at the hands of the police. And so today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We want you to know who Jayland was. We want you to understand and carry his name through and through in the conversations you have beyond today. And remember that this is not some sort of distant scenario that has played out. Rochester, you have been out time and time again with us. You know that that's what and how we have been founded upon back in 2020. And we came out every single time someone had been abused, assaulted, or murdered by the police. We came up and we showed up for that individual. And we show up again, and it's time and time again that we continue doing this. But we've been asking the community to help us break that cycle, right? We've been asking the community to remember that this isn't some issue and that just happened in Akron, Ohio. No, this is an issue that's important to Rochester, New York as well. We've seen these issues pop up here. And you guys all know that. I see so many familiar faces. So many of you have popped up with us, who have marched down these streets, who have called out for justice and continue to do that. And so I thank you for showing up, but let's remember, we cannot normalize these deaths, and it's time to start breaking these cycles. And so to get us started and talk a little bit more about Jayland, I'm gonna pass it on to my friend and incredible colleague, Halima.
I want to correct myself. I did for a second say I was excited to be here, but that's because it's really amazing to see the activists again share this space, this stomping ground that we've called our space for the last couple of years. But why we're here, there's no meaning of excitement attached to it. This is really, really one of the most heartbreaking stories of police brutality that we've seen. A young man my age, 25 years old, shot at 90 times, 60 landing in his body. I stopped dead in my tracks. I was on vacation trying to take a minute away from the stress of daily life when I got the news, and I quite literally froze in the lobby of the hotel watching the TV screen that was on. 25! I can't imagine having an encounter with being a DoorDash driver, trying to make ends meet, driving down the street thinking I'm going about my business, and to be stopped and then chased and then shot at dozens of times, almost 100 times. That's so inhumane. Iman mentioned to you all, what's so important is to bring back this idea of humanity when we talk about these victims. These are humans. These are young folks. These are old folks. These are children. These are people. These are people like us that look like us and talk like us and are living this very same life that we're living. And yet they become a hashtag. They become a name on a headline for like a day or a week, and then we've moved on. We've gotten so desensitized. They've lost all sense of humanity attached to their name. Jayland Walker was a person, and his family is literally grieving right this moment. They're crying, they're sobbing, they're in pain because their person was taken unjustly by this society that has taught us that it's okay for us to be policed the way that we're being policed. And it's not okay. It's not okay for the police to govern us as if they are guardians, as if they run this place. They don't. Jayland Walker was just trying to live his life. He was just going about his day, and he did not deserve for this to happen to him. No one has ever deserved for this to happen to them. And this is why it's so important we start to talk about transformative justice and this idea of thinking about a society that exists without police, because there's no situation, no crime that is worth losing your life over. There's nothing that can... Me taking a bag of chips from the Tops up the road doesn't deserve being chased and shot at by police. Definitely not if I'm driving my car, going to my job as a DoorDash driver, not interacting with any other person. Do I deserve to be shot at and murdered? But that's what we keep seeing happening. That's what keeps happening. Daniel Prude wasn't bothering anybody. He was having a mental health crisis in the middle of the street, literally suffering, sad, alone, scared. And what did they do? They killed him, because that's what they do. That's what they do, and it's so, so important. We have a police abolition series that's going on bi-weekly. If you have a moment to come by and take a look and listen, it's bi-weekly Sundays here at 2 p.m. here at MLK Park. We have one this Sunday. Just come and listen. You don't have to have read anything. You don't have to know any of the talking points when it comes to abolition, but listen to what it might actually look like. What if you could actually visualize a society without police, because it's possible and it's healthy for us. It's worth it. It's worth the struggle to get there, because we can't keep seeing cases like this. I can't keep having my heart stop. I can't. It's not healthy. I'm carrying too much trauma. I haven't processed the last 10 years of police brutality cases that we've seen in the news. You expect me to have capacity to process this one? When it's a young guy that's my age trying to live his life the way I'm trying to live my life, it's hitting too close to home. And it's painful. It's extremely, extremely painful. So when you leave here, as you sit here, please, please bring back the humanity to Jayland Walker. Don't let them turn him into just a name that's on the news for 5 minutes. Remember that Jayland Walker was a person. Remember that he has a family, because he matters, because we matter. And they keep trying to tell us that we don't, but we're gonna scream it from the fucking rooftops, because we matter. So we're gonna have a portion of, I'm sure so many of you are so deeply affected and afflicted by this, just as we all were. So we're gonna have a portion of today dedicated for Community Speak Out. If you'd like to step up and just say what you're feeling, what you're going through, and we can share this space together. Thank you so much for coming.
And before we open it up for community members to come up and speak, we wanted to affirm a few things. So I'm gonna say things about Black lives and the different kinds of Black lives and all of them mattering, and you could just say it back, affirming that our lives matter, because we are constantly told that we don't matter, but we know we matter, and we will keep fighting because we matter. All Black lives matter?
All Black lives matter.
All Black lives matter?
All Black lives matter.
Queer Black lives matter.
Queer Black lives matter.
Queer Black lives matter.
Queer Black lives matter.
Trans Black lives matter.
Trans Black lives matter.
Trans Black lives matter.
Trans Black lives matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black women's lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Black men's lives matter.
Formerly incarcerated Black lives matter.
Formerly incarcerated Black lives matter.
Currently incarcerated Black lives matter.
Currently incarcerated Black lives matter.
Disabled Black lives matter.
Disabled Black lives matter.
Disabled Black lives matter.
Disabled Black lives matter.
Immigrants Black lives matter.
Immigrant Black lives matter.
Immigrants Black lives matter.
Immigrant Black lives matter.
Elderly Black lives matter.
Elderly Black lives matter.
Elderly Black lives matter.
Elderly Black lives matter.
Children's Black lives matter.
Children's Black lives matter.
Children's Black lives matter.
Children's Black lives matter.
All 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 Black lives matter, and we are the creators of this space. We throw no one under the bus. We rise and thrive together. Can we say the last part together? We throw no one under the bus. We rise and thrive together. We throw no one under the bus. We rise and thrive together. Thank you. And up next, I'll call up Chris Thompson to share some words with us. And really, we just want to hold space for people to share how they feel. Your voices are valid, your voices matter, so please feel free to come up at any point.
All Black Lives Matter? All Black Lives Matter?
All Black Lives Matter.
They need to hear that all the way to City Hall. I didn't write anything down. I just wrote some notes. I didn't think I was going to speak, so please bear with me. I'm replacing somebody who's supposed to be healing, and I'm like not a healer at all. I should probably go to therapy. I am angry. I'm really livid. Jayland Walker was 25, worse. Jayland Walker was 25. And immediately when I found out how many bullets hit that man's body, the first thing I thought of was Amadou Diallo. That happened in New York State about 25, 30 years ago. He was a student, a Ghanaian student who was getting his wallet out so he could show his ID, and the cops hit him 19 times, shot 41 rounds and hit him 19 times for pulling out his wallet. And people say, well, yes, these were young black men, they're more intimidating and everything, but Daniel Prude was 41 and he was murdered in the street, suffocating, under duress, under the influence of possibly a drug, but definitely having a mental health problem. I'm 44, so what you're telling me is no one is safe. Not one black person here is safe from police brutality. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how young you are. If you want to think about it, like Tamir Rice was only 13, he was murdered in Ohio too. Basically a drive-by shooting. So, yeah, I probably need therapy. I am very mad. I'm livid. And I know that a lot of people, I don't know if you have any dissenters or anything like that, who may say, well, Jayland Walker had a gun. I don't know if you know this, but Ohio is one of the most pro-Second Amendment states in the Union. Like, you can have a gun, it's fine. The fact is, it was a black man with a gun. And also, he didn't have the gun on him when he was shot 60 to 90 times. Because we can't get a clear count on that, because you can't trust any police report ever. We already know that. Any of us who've been here in 2020, who have been getting hit with tear gas since 2020, who've been beaten with batons, who've been accused of assaulting an officer when really all they did was like sprain their pinky when they were beating the shit out of us. You know, we know that they falsify their records. They don't get them straight. So we can't trust them. And we can say that it's just the Ohio cops, but it really isn't. It's every single police force in this nation, including Rochester. These are people who were murdered in Rochester, right here. Just last, Jesus Christ. Sorry. Told you I'm not okay. Just last year, Tyshawn Jones, say his name.
Tyshawn Jones.
Mark Gaskill, say his name.
Mark Gaskill.
Tim Flowers, say his name.
Tim Flowers.
Dedrick James, say his name.
Dedrick James.
Simron Gordon, say his name.
Simron Gordon.
These were people killed by Rochester police, all under suspicious circumstances. And you can say that, well, maybe they weren't doing something very, I don't know, uplifting or something at the time. But the fact is, I just heard from my friend who was just riding down Monroe. They possibly flipped off a cop car because why not? First Amendment. They were detained for 30 minutes while a bunch of other cop cars came by for backup. This person was on a scooter, on an electric scooter. Where's the danger? Where's the danger in this symbol right here? Sorry, children, if there are any. There aren't any, good. One finger needed 2 squad cars. The abuse is ridiculous, and I'm tired of it. I think we're all tired of it. We're all mad, and thank you for coming out and allowing me to yell at you because goddamn, I'm mad, and absolutely everyone here should be mad too. We just came off one of the worst years of Supreme Court decisions. Like, rights are being lost left and right. Basically, we can't sue if a cop violates our Miranda rights now. That's something that happened. That was buried under the Supreme Court taking away women and people with uteruses rights to have an abortion. Just simple health care. Abortion is nothing but health care. And this state, this country, is trying to take everyone's rights away. And right now, I'm a little bit sad that I can see grass right now. I kind of miss when I couldn't see anything but a sea of people back in 2020. It should be like that every single damn time. Every single time one of our rights are taken away, anybody's rights, even if we're not part of that group, we should be all out here. So I think I should probably finish with this. I need every one of you, we all need to unite as a people, all black people, all trans, gay, bi, queer people in general, all women. Everyone needs to unite. Everyone who's disabled, everyone whose rights have been taken away by this court, by this country, everyone whose rights have been violated by this city, by this country. Every single one of us needs to unite. Even Huey Newton of the Black Panther Party explicitly said that we all need to get together. We all need to unite because white supremacy is going to kill every single one of us, whether you believe it or not. I don't want to drop it. Thank you.
Thank you to Chris for always showing up and being there to express your emotions no matter what they are. We're not here to police anyone's emotions. Whether it's here to talk about healing or to talk about your anger, we really do welcome you up, specifically if you're directly impacted by this. Next up, I'd like to invite up Hanif Abdullahi, who's from the Black Agenda Group. Hanif?
He actually stepped away.
Oh, he just stepped away. Okay. Who next? Do we have any other representatives from the Black Agenda Group who would like to speak?
Yes.
We got Ricardo Adams. He's not Black Agenda, but he's black. Let's go.
I need to say that they really need to indict, convict, and send them killer cops to jail. For real, man. That's the only thing that's going to really change this. Make them start being careful. But as long as they keep getting away with this, why would they stop doing this to us? I've lived quite a lot of years never having a real peace of mind. Always having to worry about extra stuff. I go in the store. I mean, even today, I'm a public official. I'm a school board commissioner. That don't mean nothing. I'm a black man first, and that's what they see. And that puts me in jeopardy. And then you're going to hear rhetoric from some folks about, well, what about all the other people, the violence going on? So let me tell you this here. Anybody that kills somebody in my community, if they get caught, they going to jail. The police, we got them on film and everything. And they're not going to jail. They're not going to jail. This has to stop. And I don't really have the answers, and I'm not really, I have to be careful what I say, but the truth is, we need to probably do more than just be talking. We need to make them some noise. And this is just ridiculous. I get so tired of coming up here, talking to folks, and we've normalized this. I hate to say this, we've normalized it to the point, we should have been out here. This should be packed. like Chris said. But we're so used to it. We're just shaking it off, turning the other cheek. I really appreciate everybody that's here. But I'm really hurt. This really bothers me.
We'd like to take a moment to open it up to any one of you who's here with us today. We really want to just be able to provide a platform for people to kind of get things off their chest, share a couple of words. So if you've never spoken before, that's cool too. Like, this is a great opportunity to do that. This is a really compassionate community. That's why we welcome anyone.
Hi everyone, I live here. I just don't know if you all know that in Rochester specifically, we have something called the Police Accountability Board that exists. So I'm just gonna ask you all to pull out your phone. Their stuff's on Instagram. I'm just gonna read you their phone number. I think everyone should just have it in their phone. It's 585-557-2494. Right, so we should be doing stuff. We should be calling when we're seeing something, and we should be reporting it, and we should be giving our loved ones the resources to know that there are establishments that hopefully will exist to support them as they get the rights they deserve, right? So that's all I had to say, just that resource.
Thank you, Jonathan.
It's only right. My name is Jamila. You can find me as Jamila Possible on Facebook. But I just wanted to reach for a minute because it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to be exposed. One of the names that were read was Timothy Flowers. That's actually my cousin. He was gunned down near Hudson by a police officer. He did shoot first. So it's a catch-22 situation. You know, there are some people out here who make bad decisions, but they still don't deserve to die. And what I want to say is, this week I said I was quitting activism this week. I threw the towel in. And mainly because this is not enough. This is not enough. You are enough, but this is not enough. We need to bring more friends, more family members, more people to the table so that we can have these conversations and see something happen. As behind me, I'm watching the beautiful flag flying behind us. But I think Black Americans need one too. We've definitely had the hardest fight out of anyone in America. No one has had to struggle like us. So when you see a Black person, don't be judgmental. When you see a Black person, think twice before you lock your doors. You know, before you clutch your purse. Because we have feelings, we have emotions, and we're hurting. We're hurting people. And that's the reality of the situation. It's in the news, it's in our communities, it's the police, it's each other. Love on a Black person when you see them and show them empathy. And that's all that I can ask for you. Thank you.
The floor is still open for anyone else to join us as well.
So when I'm in these spaces, I do ask myself, like, what are we actually doing? What are the steps we are taking to make meaningful change? I think it's the mainstream narrative wants us to believe that we're not making progress, we're not moving forward, nothing is changing. But I do think it's important that we acknowledge that people did come out. People do still care. People are actually thinking about abolition, and in different communities across the country, we are seeing abolitionist infrastructure being built successfully. I think it's important that we take control of building that infrastructure. I think about Rochester after Daniel Prue died. There was a call to build a mental health response unit that was not grounded in policing and the violence they inherently cause. That almost happened. I think as an abolitionist, it's hard to trust the state. I'm a part of City Council and now more than ever, don't trust the state. I'm even more certain about it. But we have to take control and build the resources and the tools that we are asking our government to build. They are not going to do it in the way that frees us. They're not going to do it in a way that centers our care or that offers us true love and prioritizes our real human needs. So amongst all of us, like, what are things we can build? What are things we can create? What are things we're doing in our own communities? I'm seeing Flower City Noir Collective and you of our fellows build community gardens on Samuel McCree and Jefferson. That is a life-affirming thing that is being done. That is inherently abolitionist and taking power away from the state. Like, shit is really happening. We are out here on a Friday night, and there's a whole baby over there, and we have elders over here too. It is intergenerational. So one of the things I really try to focus on is hope. I think being an abolitionist, I always have to have hope because it's one of the things that the state tries to take away from me. When I see a black man being killed, the first thing I feel is hopelessness. I read hope really is a discipline. Like, you have to wake up and choose hope. You have to wake up and decide, you know what? There were people before me who fought to get me here, and there is a path forward because people continue to believe and have hope and keep showing up. So I'm here to say, in the light of this really fucked up, tragic incident, we know that as long as police exist, this is going to keep happening, which is why I'm an abolitionist and which is why we should all be abolitionists. We have to abolish the police, the prison industrial complex, the carceral colonization that lives deep within our spirits. As I try to build abolitionist institutions, I'm also seeing myself change. I'm seeing myself have more empathy for my neighbors and my friends. I'm seeing myself think about what it means to be radically honest and transparent. And if I'm honest, I'm fucking scared. Sometimes I'm not sure that all we're going to do is going to be enough. But Ashley always says, we're doing this to loosen the chains for the next generation. We might not see the benefits of all the work we're doing, but we can't stop now and we have to keep going. That's what I'm thinking, and sorry for blabbering. Thank you. And I saw Chris walking up.
One last thing, and then I'm gonna stop touching this mic. If I hear one more person say vote blue, no matter who, I'm probably gonna throw hands. Definitely vote. If you're over 18 and you're not registered to vote, what are you doing? Definitely vote. That's nothing, though. Get your vote out there. If it weren't for people voting, we wouldn't have Stanley Martin as an elected official right now.
But also fuck City Council.
Also, fuck City Council. Fuck City Council for multiple reasons. They have a known sexual harasser in City Council right now, Jose Pio. And not one male City Council member has said anything about it. Or county. So the next step is cyberbully your elected official. I'm so serious. Yell at them. Write them letters. Go to their office, bother the hell out of them. You see that? Even Stanley agrees. We need to hold these people accountable. They come up to us, they keep telling us, vote blue, and then they don't do a thing. That's why we're at right now. That's why our rights are being stripped away. Because we did all that voting blue no matter who, but then blue didn't do a goddamn thing for us. So the next step is to get in their face and make sure they do the job that they promised they would do. They answer to us. They've been answering to whoever's been like paying their kickbacks for the last 30, 40, 50 years, and they haven't answered to us, the people who are well, we are the people. It's not the corporations. All right, that's it. I gotta go.
Welcome up Robin Wilt.
All Black Lives Matter.
didn't know if I was going to come up here because, to be honest, I've been feeling really depressed, dejected, demoralized lately. Because when we have these discussions, they tend to focus on the oppressive forces like the police. And yes, we need accountability, and we need to make sure that we're not over-policed. But when we talk about public safety as a whole, that narrative has to be about us and our priorities as a community. When we look at abolition, we have models for abolition that exist today. This is not some radical notion that doesn't exist anywhere. We look at the disparities in policing, and in those disparities, we can find abolition. Think about how some communities are policed as opposed to others. The way we police Black and brown communities is very different than the neighboring models in our white communities. And that is unjust, that is unfair, it is unacceptable, and it is what we're fighting against. So when we think about abolition, we need to think about what actually constitutes public safety. And we've seen it in our own communities, right? We keep us safe. But when we're talking about the state and the priorities of the state, it should be to invest in our communities, provide our communities the resources to make sure that we have opportunity and to make sure that everyone can fulfill their full potential. So when we look at disparities in education and funding, when we look at disparities in housing funding, when we look at disparities in the arts funding, when we look at all of these disparities between our Black and brown community and our white communities, therein lies the opportunity. And we have to demand that our elected officials service all of our communities equitably. We have to demand that those disparities in funding disappear, that all of our communities are well-resourced, that all of our communities have educational opportunity, that there is no hunger in any of our communities, that there are no housing crises in any of our communities. So when we look to our elected officials, we need to demand that the budgets that they are passing are grounded in our values, our priorities. Or yes, we continue to give them hell. We're in their inboxes. We're showing up at those meetings. And we're voting them the hell out if they're not doing our bidding. And we have to look at all of these colonized institutions. Chris talked about the Democratic Party and voting blue no matter who. Of course, we're not going to do that. But one of the reasons that the Democratic Party is able to get away with what they do get away with is that we're not there holding them accountable. We know that there's a difference between Stanley Martin and Ken Smith and other members of the council and Mary Lupien. We know from their votes on the budget. We know that there are people doing our bidding and there are others who just don't care. there are others that are willing to perpetuate an unjust status quo. So we need to get into all of those spaces and take them over. There should be no space in which the people's voice is not the preeminent voice. So get involved. You don't necessarily have to run for office, but find out where your local Democratic committee meets and go to those meetings. Join your committees. Because when we abdicate our spaces at those tables, we're what's served for dinner. Be active, be engaged, and don't let your public officials rest.
So as we get towards the end of the program, we're going to end with a meditation from Shaku. He's part of the Black Healers Network. But before that, I wanted to leave y'all with some action items. The thing that matters is not, showing up one day and voting, which I'm not saying vote or don't vote. That's up to you, follow your heart. But what matters is what we do every day before voting, and things outside of the things that are one-offs. So like the community gardening, like organizing around the city budget, like helping neighbors, making sure they're fed and clothed. So if you'd like to get more involved, we have sign-up sheets on the table. One of us will reach out to you and sit with you and talk about what it looks like to be involved in the struggle for Black liberation and to end the police brutality that we see happening in our community. The other action item folks can take is, if they can, we have QR codes for the Walker family. If you make a donation, it goes directly to them, and also the Akron, Ohio Bail Fund. Unlike New York State, bail laws are more strict, so people are being arrested and have a bail who are out in the street standing up against fascism. So if you can, please make a donation. The links are on the table. And sign up to organize, volunteer, be a part of this community, and stay vigilant. Stay vigilant. Join a radical organization. There are many, many, many in this community. And I'll turn it over to Shaku. And also, we're really grateful for the sign language interpreters. Thank you for showing up and making this accessible. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Stanley. So I wrote everything down because I don't want to forget what I'm going to say. So thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you. Please join me now in the spirit of prayer, meditation, and reflection. We're going to follow that with some shared silence. Let's turn inward now together. Rest your eyes, your hands, and your body in whatever way works for you. Take a few minutes to do that. Sharing some writing from Larry Ward. First, I want to welcome you to this moment with these words. History is already here and different because you are here. The world has already been changed because you showed up. I want to offer a special welcome for the precious friend that each of you has brought with you. That friend is your in-breath. That friend is your out-breath. I want to welcome that friend and encourage you to stay close during our time together. Whatever is happening, don't lose touch with that miracle of your in-breath and your out-breath. I want to also welcome your ancestors, the people known to you and unknown to you, your ancestors of the land, your ancestors of spirit, your ancestors of the mineral, plant, and animal worlds that are all around us. I want to say that this land, this environment, welcomes you. grief is one of the heart's natural responses to loss. When we grieve, we allow ourselves to feel the truth of our pain. It takes courage to grieve and honor the pain we carry. We can grieve in tears, or in silence, in prayer, or in song. In touching the depths of our pain, from our most recent losses to those held within us for decades or centuries, we come face to face with our vulnerability. Like the water in the well of our village, however the depths of our grief are, they are also the source of our collective nourishment and strength. Let us then embrace our tears as one village and help one another to go to the well and grieve in our own ways. Without a wise way to grieve, we only walk past or around the well. We're guarded, distracted, and unfeeling. If that's where I am for now, that's okay too. I can be a witness to others who mourn, witness their courage, and be nourished enough to move closer to the well. In this way, the grief we carry may be our own, or the pain of those close to us. It may also be tears for the world and for the suffering of our ancestors. All this grief is also in our hearts. It's in our bodies. Yet our suffering is not the end of this story. When we support each other to honorably touch the water, filled with the tears of our village, deep in the well of our collective grief, we are nourished. When we stay close to the in-breath and our out-breath, we are flowing like the river that feeds the well. We will care even more deeply, love more fully, and see each other even more clearly with the most unexpected gift of our grieving. We become the gardens beneath which rivers, the true source of our tears in the well, will flow. We can always return to this process and receive this gift of our grieving. Today, in our moments of grieving, we can ask ourselves, how might I approach the well? Who can support me in the depths of my grieving? What am I feeling in my body, in my heart? What are the wise ways I have learned to grieve and honor my grieving? How can I be a loving presence for those who are at the well, for those who are around the well? So in our silence together, may we find the peace that comes from nourishment from the well and from the gardens of this movement beneath which rivers flow. So please join me now for 90 seconds of shared silence. May we go in peace.
Thank you, Shaku. And thank you all so much for coming out. Thank you for having hope. Thank you for caring. Thank you for joining the fight. Yeah, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and I'm sure we'll be outside again this summer, I'm certain.